The divide in D.C. was on full display at last night's joint address to Congress. Republicans cheered on last night's speech while Democrats found different ways to voice their dissent. Take a look.
We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
The chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
We inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. As the tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much, and we quickly achieve the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. It turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Oh, God. Okay. That's a lot to unpack. So if you watched, what were your takeaways?
Just that last part about they inherited the worst economy. When Biden was in, we had the envy of the world. We had the world admired our economy. What is the lying? That was the biggest lie I think that he told. The whole thing was filled with lies. I watched the whole thing. It was lie, like a bad stand-up comic. He was doing a bad set, you know, and lie after lie. But the worst one was that because he inherited the lowest unemployment since Nixon. He inherited a roaring stock market, which we saw took a tumble the other day, an inflation rate that Biden brought down from over 9% to 2.7%. And we were the economy envy of the world. Now we're just the enemy of the world. You know, everybody's mad at us. Canada's mad at us, and Panama's mad.
Canada's mad at him.
Well,
Canada's, because I believe the rest of the world understands that Americans are questioning a lot of what's going on.
I
as
hope
well.
they know that.
Yeah, they know that this is not a done deal because they're seeing that federal real people workers are being fired, all kinds of folks. And so they're seeing that how it's affecting. So I will say that from the folks that I've spoken to in the couple of little places where I speak to people, you know, they're saying, you know, what are y'all going to do? Say, well, we'll see. But I just wanted to do that. What else?
I believe that. I believe in Canadians.
Well, I believe in Canadians. I do, too. It was longer than Adrian Brody's Best Actor speech. This ran 100 minutes long, and I watched every minute. Here's what I will say. Donald Trump's not...
It was a miniseries.
It was very long. Donald Trump is not trying to bring in new voters because he doesn't need to. So this was a lot of red meat for his supporters. Though I thought I've got to give him credit, he knows how to make compelling TV. Knowing that most people like me weren't going to watch all 100 minutes, but they were going to watch things that would live on social media, there was a powerful moment. He acknowledged Mark Fogel, this American who had been held hostage in Russia that he got home. This young boy, 13 years old, battling cancer. He made an honorary member of the Secret Service. DJ Daniel. It was a sweet moment.
Isn't he defunding cancer research?
Two mothers who lost their daughters. And then at the end, he did acknowledge that we captured ISIS terrorists. These are all things that to Republicans are huge wins that they're excited about. But what stood out to me was the comment around tariffs, because the markets were in free fall yesterday, and he did acknowledge there's going to be a disturbance, and there was not a lot around the cost of living.
Why did he do that, do you think?
I think he's saying, bear with me. I have done all these things that you wanted.
Bear with me or don't blame me.
He thinks that tariffs work. I don't agree with him. He is convinced that it's going to bring more American jobs here.
Well, Lisa, what you were saying about he wasn't vying for other voters. What's always bothered me about when Donald Trump speaks is he speaks for people who voted for him. And one thing of the old politicians of days gone by was they always reminded people, I'm a president for everyone, whether you voted for me or not. He did not mess around with insulting Democrats the entire time, like mocking them. He also brought up President Biden a lot more than I would have expected. Like, you won, move on, like, let's go. But I did want to mention those moments, although produced in those speeches, I was moved by the featured stories of the families. I think that it I know everyone does them. I know there's always a lot of hands behind, but anytime someone, a victim, the families gets recognized, my heart goes out to them.
Yeah, but do his policies match what he was
I'm just
saying?
speaking to
Yeah.
those moments, honestly.
Well, that's an important
But
point.
specifically on the mothers who lost children because of undocumented migrants, that is something that resonates so strongly with a lot of Americans. And that you could not watch that moment, Laken Riley's family, and not feel for her.
But the most insidious part of the entire night for me is the class war he is gauging right now. So he is bait and switching the working class constantly. And a lot of people who didn't vote for him have always seen that. But what bothers me is he's willing to say, he talked about the tariffs, he talked about a period of discomfort, but you know who he didn't tell it might be uncomfortable for? Elon Musk or the other 814 billionaires that live in this country who don't pay their taxes. All I'm wanting, the only thing I want to hear is compromise. Take what rate you have in mind and even put it in half. Just tell Elon Musk and everyone else that's here and ready to gut major federal agencies that probably have some fat, that's fine. Why won't it hurt them for just a minute? You know why they flock to this country? Because it benefits them financially. That's why they're all here. So all I wanted to hear was if the working class who is suffering the most is going to get hit with more, why don't we just let Elon Musk do one great thing for this nation and let him and his buddies pay just slightly closer to a fair amount of taxes? That's all I want to hear.
Go ahead.
You know, I know how much this president loves his ratings, so I did not turn the TV on. I turned the TV off. What I did was I watched the State of the People Summit, which was counter-programming. At last count, when I tuned off at about 11:30 p.m., there were about 200,000 viewers. It was a 24-hour program. It included hours dedicated to the actual issues that our country is facing. For example, there was an economic hour, there was a legal hour, there was a faith-based hour. Minority leader Hakeem Jeffries showed up for that. Jasmine Crockett was there, other civil rights leaders. So unlike Trump's campaign speech, which is, I think, what we really saw, this was actually informative programming. And so that's what I watched. But I can speak in the next segment as to some of the clips that I saw.
Right.
And there you have it.